Hello and welcome to my channel. So, this is innate immunity part 2. In my previous video, we have discussed two mechanisms of innate immunity. So, the two barriers, anatomical barriers and physiological barriers, we have already discussed, and I will put the link of that video in my description box. Now, we are going to start with the third type of barrier, that is phagocytosis barriers. So, endocytic and phagocytic barriers. Endocytosis and phagocytosis, there are two different processes which are used by a cell to internalize the different type of extracellular material, and small macromolecular pathogens are ingested by endocytosis, whereas the large particulate material is ingested and removed by phagocytosis. So let's start with endocytosis. See, we can see here in the diagram that there is a plasma membrane. This is plasma membrane of the cell, and whenever a pathogen or an antigen comes in contact with the plasma membrane, this is the antigen, this is particulate antigen, and it's coming in contact with the receptors. So this is receptor mediated endocytosis. So receptors are present for those pathogen, receptors are specific for these pathogens, so they can help in internalizing. This is pinocytosis, and this is receptor mediated endocytosis. Pinocytosis is for small molecules, we also call it cell drinking. So whenever pathogen comes in contact with the plasma membrane, it is internalized inside the vesicle, whereas in case of receptor mediated endocytosis, the pathogen has specific receptors present on the cell surface, and later on it is internalized similarly. It buds off inside, and then it comes in contact with the lysosome. Lysosome is the organelle which is present inside the cell, and it's also called suicidal bag because it has hydrolytic enzymes present in it. So this endosome comes in contact with the lysosome, and together it forms endolysosome. This endosome along with lysosome forms this endolysosome, and the endolysosome helps in digesting the pathogen because it has hydrolytic enzymes within it. These enzymes degrade the pathogen into smaller fragments, peptide, sugar, nucleotides, etc., which are eliminated from the cell by exocytosis. Next, we have phagocytosis, which is usually used for large particles. This is another type of endocytosis in which particulate material is taken up by the cell from its environment, and it is usually undertaken by specialized cells called phagocytes. So macrophages are the most efficient phagocytes, however, but we have neutrophils and monocytes also. So now phagocytosis is initiated by chemotaxis, a process in which macrophages or the phagosome, this is ingestion of bacterium. So they are attracted towards the site of the microbial invasion or inflammation. So see, it is internalized just like in case of endocytosis, and again it forms, it fuses with, phagosome fuses with the lysosome. These are the pseudopodia, the false arms. So via pseudopodia, large whole microbes, they adhere well, while viruses, microbial components and isolated proteins, they adhere poorly. And adherence is also enhanced by opsonization, that is coating of the microbe by specific antibodies or at times by complement proteins. Now you can see here that after formation of phagolysosome, bacterial digestion takes place, and it is removed out of the cell via exocytosis. The killing of the pathogen takes place by two different mechanisms. Killing by oxygen dependent mechanism is the first. So this is indicated by enormous increase in oxygen consumption of the phagocyte following microbe internalization. This is also called respiratory burst. There are enzymes like myeloperoxidase and chloride ions. They initiate the production of oxygen derived free radical species such as hydrogen peroxide, hydroxyl radicals, superoxide ions, etc., which kill the organism. So, and next we have oxygen independent killing mechanism. So it is mediated by various enzymes of phagolysosomes like lysosomes, hydrolytic enzymes, and interleukins. We have examples like tumor necrosis factor. And in addition, phagocytes also produce cationic peptides like defensins. These are 30 to 35 amino acids, long cysteine rich peptides with circular shapes, and they form ion permeable channels in bacteria and mammalian cell membrane, and they can kill a wide variety of pathogens in this manner. Next type of barrier, we have inflammatory barrier. So in this barrier, tissue damage takes place which is caused by injury or infection and induces a lot of collective events called inflammatory response. And the symptoms, they include swelling, pain, redness and heat, and sometimes loss of function also. And these are called cardinal signs. These features are referred to as cardinal signs of the inflammation. And the main pathological changes occurring in tissues and leading to inflammation. Next, we will discuss all of them. So we have three main type of changes occurring. First, we have vasodilation. In case of vasodilation, because of tissue injury, lot of blood flows to the site of injury. So the vessels are dilated and they are engorged. That's why they're responsible for redness and heat. And second, we have increased permeability of blood vessels. So it leads to influx of fluid into the extravascular tissue spaces, leading to swelling and collection of protein rich fluid called exudate. Next, we have influx of phagocytes into tissues. So initiation of inflammation is triggered by release of some chemical mediators from the invading organisms. So for example, we have histamine. See here in the diagram, when tissue damage takes place, bacteria moves inside and there is release of vasoactive and chemotactic factors. For example, we have histamine, bradykinins and activators of blood clotting enzyme system. Histamine, which is released from the damaged cell, binds to receptors on capillaries and venules and causes vasodilation and increased vascular permeability. So the blood clotting enzymes also lead to formation of fibrin clot here around the site of injury to localize the and minimize the damage. And the enhanced phagocytosis then removes the dead cells and debris to complete the process. So in this way, it moves out of the system. So that's all for the video today. Thank you.